And look at him go. He could go all the way. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Say you will.
Shout it right now, baby.
Say you will.
Come on, come on.
Say you will.
Come on and shout.
Say you will.
Yeah.
Shout.
Buffalo's happening now.
Shout.
We're on the move now.
Shout.
The Bills are happening now.
Shout.
They're making it happen.
Welcome to 716 Sports Blizzard. Today, we have a special guest, Robyn and
Logan.
and
I'm getting some internet issues. It says the connection's unstable. Are you guys hearing me?
I got you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. I think we're good. Yeah. But welcome to the 716 Sports Blizzard podcast. It's been a while. It's good to see everybody again. Get the gang back together. Our monthly podcast. And so how's everybody been doing? How are we feeling about the Bill season so far?
It's looking pretty good at 9-2, don't you think, Robbie?
6-game winning streak.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I think it's going pretty good for Sean McDermott and the coaches.
Not bad for a rebuild year, huh?
That's what I remember. I came into the year. I said on the podcast, the team screams 10 wins, and we're going to shatter that. If I had to take a guess, we're already not.
We better.
Yeah.
At this point,
Because if we don't, that's an all-time collapse at that point.
I just thought that Kansas City game was a statement game. I know everybody says, okay, we beat them in the regular season. They beat us in the playoffs, all that kind of talk. But it doesn't matter. When you beat an undefeated team, it's big. It's big.
Yeah.
It's big. It was really big. So, if you're the first time on our podcast listening, what I usually do when I visit is I have 5 questions that I'm going to ask our panel here, and we are going to discuss these 5 questions, and they have to do with the Kansas City game. And we don't have, because normally I would talk about the game we have coming up, but I think that we're going to skip that part because we have a bye week coming up. So, my first question, and I'm going to address it first to you, Logan. Who was your favorite Bills player from the Kansas City game and why? And by the way, I forgot to add, you are not allowed to use Josh Allen.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to go with an answer that I don't think either of you will have. I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel.
Nice.
He had an excellent.
He got himself a game, didn't he?
He had an excellent game. Even only on 5 catches, he came up with contested catches, which has never been a strong suit for him throughout his entire career. He was just getting open. It just felt like when you needed him, he came up big. And
That was so good.
in that specific game, I just felt like his presence stood out to me. So I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel for that answer.
I like it. It was definitely his best game of the season.
By far. It really wasn't that close, honestly.
Really. Robbie, what about you? Who was your favorite player?
I would say what's his name? Bernard.
Bro Bernard.
Ah, yeah, I'll be chatting about him a little bit later. Now, you guys,
Oh,
so that's
Well,
good.
Well,
So,
because he like kind of stood out in the first quarter there. Like
mhm.
I
you did.
I went back and watched the first quarter, and I was like, I think Terrell Bernard like really stood out because
He
was
did.
he was able to get to Mahomes and sack him.
And he was the spy. I guess he was the spy on Mahomes. And
Okay.
I think that was, I was listening to a few people talk about the all 22, and they said that Bernard wasn't used as a spy through the whole game. He was used at times as the spy, and he was used as a decoy spy, which was like really weird the way they explained it. But I thought it was cool because we haven't seen that before. We haven't really seen the Bills use a spy that often that I can think of. Not even at all this season, I don't think. Do you guys ever remember him using a spy this season? I don't remember him using.
I wouldn't be shocked if we used a spy against Lamar in the Ravens
Ah,
game. I just don't remember who. Because
Yeah.
I feel like you have to spy Lamar. If you
Yeah.
don't, you're in for a bad time. So
yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I think that's a good choice, Robbie. That's a really
Yeah.
good choice. Now, my
It is.
choice is going to probably be off the beaten path here, but it was just because I picked Dawson Knox because Dawson had to play in Kincaid's role, and he came up big. And Dawson has it, he's a good blocker. He hasn't been used that much. In fact, I have been surprised that they haven't featured Dalton Kincaid more throughout the season, but maybe that's coming. I don't know. But I was pretty happy to see Dawson Knox have himself a good game. So
Yeah.
that's
I
number one.
I agree with you. I thought he did have a very good game.
He did. He did. And he needed to because we didn't have Coleman and we didn't have Kincaid. So we had to have people step up. And as you pointed out, Curtis Samuel, like I was dreading it because I didn't really know what to expect from him because he hasn't shown very much this year. But
Yep.
as I understand it, he had a turf toe situation. And
Oh,
yeah, that was, I think, in training camp. And I believe he's probably had a turf toe history, I bet, in the past, because a lot of times that becomes chronic. So it's real easy to have it happen again. And I wondered in the earlier part of the year if they weren't holding off on Curtis and not using him a lot, basically to save his foot for the playoffs. And I don't know, but I know they needed him. I know they needed him on Sunday, and they got him. And he played really well. Okay, my next question. How much better do you guys think that the Bills defense will be when Matt Milano returns? Robbie, I'll go to you first. Robbie. You think how much of a difference is Matt Milano going to make?
Well, would that mean that like Terrell Bernard might be like in a different role, like in a different
No, because Terrell he's a middle linebacker and Milano will be on the outside. But I just thought of this. I don't think we've even have we seen Terrell Bernard and Milano on the field at the same time very much? I don't think so.
last year we did.
Last
for a
year,
few
but
games.
that's when he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
When Milano tore his ACL. So I don't think he's had that much time on the field with Bernard. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play together because I think that's going to be awesome. What do you
I think that would be good for both of them.
Mm-hmm. You know, the other person I think it'll be good for Taron Johnson. Because Taron, when he has, because Milano always seems to have he's got his head right where it needs to be, where the ball, he's always where he needs to be. He's very rarely caught out of position. And I think that helps Johnson too. So it's like when we get Milano back and we have Taron Johnson and all these guys working together, I think that part of the D is going to help the defensive line too, because we've been talking earlier in the year how the defensive line hasn't really held up as well as we thought it might, especially in the interior. But it looks like I think with the linebacker really doing a good job, that's going to help the defensive line as well. What do you guys think?
You want to start off, Robbie, or you want me to go?
Like, I think maybe once Milano's back, I think that like maybe Taron Johnson will end up getting a few picks. Maybe DeMar Hamlin will get a few.
Yeah, I think it's just going to make everybody play a whole lot better. How about you, Logan? What do you think?
I feel the same way. I guess the only real concern I have is how much athleticism has he lost? Because it is, even though he has the smarts and, in my opinion, might be the most instinctive linebacker in the NFL, how much of that is going to matter when he's going to lose? He might lose a step. And we see it with players like Bobby Wagner, Luke Kuechly, these ultra instinctive linebackers who once they get hurt, they lose a step. And then they can still make an impact, but it's just not the same. I do anticipate that once he gets back, we will still see those instinctive plays. I'm just a little bit more concerned, and I'm not as locked in, oh yeah, this is going to make our defense better. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, it could. And it's hard telling. The good thing is that the ACL repairs that they're doing now are so much better than they were even a few years ago. You saw Adrian Peterson came back from that ACL in 6 months, and he was weird. He was weird good right away. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that will be the case. And then you have to ask the question, what do you guys think? How do you take Dorian Williams off the field now too? He's been playing pretty good.
Yeah. He leads our team in tackles. Granted, tackles itself, I think, is an overrated stat, but it still means something because he's kind of flying around the ball. He's a very fast player, and I think it's intriguing to see him play so well as this kind of athletic linebacker who still needs to work out how to play coverage and how to,
but boy,
find the ball and be more instinctive.
Beginning of the year, he's not getting caught out of position nearly as much as he was.
Yep.
And
he definitely is getting a lot better.
Yeah, he is. What do you think about Dorian Williams, Robbie?
I think he's been standing out like a good what is he, middle linebacker?
He kind of plays outside.
He plays in Matt Milano's spot.
Basically, yeah. So kind of
he
like
has
a
played the middle a couple of times, but
yeah,
I think
he's
it's
like
only
a coverage linebacker. So
yeah. Well, and don't forget, we can't forget about our good friend Joe Andreessen either.
Yeah, we haven't seen him play that much.
No, but I think that he's playing on special teams, so that's good. And you guys probably saw where Fitz was going to pay his fine, that he got fined $12,000.
I heard about that.
And Fitz offered to pay his fine. I think
Yeah.
that's just so great. So, okay. So I do think the Bills will be a lot better. I don't know, but I think that having Matt Milano's experience will help. It's going to be nice to have the depth now, because the other thing is we probably don't want Matt Milano to come in and do 100% of the snaps in the first week, right? They're going to ease him in, you would think. And if they do that, then he should be probably ready to go at full strength by the playoffs. And that would be terrific.
Yep.
And it's just nice to have the depth, because now that Dorian Williams has had all of this playing time, that's going to do nothing but help our depth on defense, because if Milano has to go down again or whatever, I'm not going to worry about Dorian Williams, because I think he can play. He can do it.
I agree.
Okay, question number 3. And this is an interesting one. So, do we think that James Cook will have a 1,000-yard season this year? He now has 596 yards rushing, and we've got 6 games left to go. What do you think, Robbie?
I think if they're able to use James Cook like they did this past game, where he had two touchdowns,
He did.
I think if they can use him more like out of the backfield, or use him more to be like a rusher, I think they could get
You think
him.
his 1,000 yards?
Yeah, I think they could get him to 1,000.
What do you think, Logan?
No, I'll say yeah. I'll say he will, but it's going to be barely. Because there's not a whole lot of games left. What, 6 maybe?
Mm-hmm.
If he does, I'm willing to bet it'll be like 1,000 in like 5 yards. Like it won't be much more than that. But hey, he's still making an impact. He's still getting touchdowns, and it's not like it doesn't matter if he doesn't get 1,000 yards this year. He's making a huge impact. He's been a great addition to the offense. Yep,
he sure is. And I don't know what you guys think, but we might see as the season goes on too, the wear and tear on these guys adds up. And Ray Davis has been playing so well. Don't you want to see him have a few more touches too? Do you want to see Ray Davis play a little more, Robbie?
I would like to. But maybe like as like a second down guy, or like a third down guy, but we got Ty Johnson over there.
Ty Johnson has turned into quite a good pass blocker. And I noticed that in the Kansas City game, they were using him a lot on third down. And I thought it was interesting because he's improved in that regard. I don't think that was what he was ever really known for, but he certainly looked pretty good against KC. So I'm going to say, I think James Cook does it, but probably like Logan said, barely, because I do think that the reps will increase for Ray Davis some. And it's only natural, because as we get toward the end of the season, the wear and tear on the primary running backs, they get worn down. So we have Ray. Why not play him? He's good. He can catch. He can block. He can He can run. Boy, is he ever hard to bring down. I don't know what it is about him. Maybe it's because he's so short and so stout, but they have a very hard time. Defenses have a very hard time bringing Ray Davis down. Although, could you guys believe I haven't seen James Cook run the ball with that much authority in a long time. He's much stronger this year. They said that he's worked on his lower body strength. So have you noticed how when he hits the hole, like he'll just push people through in a way that I don't remember seeing him do that in the past? So if James gets his 1,000 yards, I'm with Logan. I think it's going to be barely.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so my next question is kind of a crazy question, but do you guys think that KC played better or worse than you expected him to play? Robbie, you first. Did you expect him to play better?
I expected more like a touchdown affair, you know, like they would
Keep it close.
yeah, like they would keep it close. They would like throw a touchdown here and there, or like get Travis Kelce involved maybe a little bit in making the defense try to focus more on Kelce.
Yeah, because Kelsey was 2 receptions for 8 yards.
Yeah.
That
He
was
didn't-
nuts.
Yeah, he did nothing. Yeah.
Do you guys think he's losing it? Like losing a step, Kelsey? I do. He looks
Yeah.
slow to me.
Yeah. He's 35, isn't he? Like,
Yeah. And he's got a lot of mileage on him too.
yeah. I mean, he's still a good player, but it's clear he's not the difference maker he once was. You know, he's not like the top tight end in the league anymore.
Not even close this year.
No. I mean, this year it's been Kittle, or honestly, Brock Bowers has been playing unbelievable for Las Vegas.
He has been. And there's quite a few good tight ends in the league now. Heck, Noah Gray played a better game than Travis Kelce did. He had
Didn't he have 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he would look pretty good. And we activated Zach Davidson. That's who it was, off the practice squad. And he got a few snaps and he was playing on special teams and he looked pretty good. So I think we're in pretty good shape in that regard. I hope Dalton Kincaid does come back sooner than later.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so what did you think, Logan? Did you think that KC played better or worse than you expected?
They did play worse than I expected. Granted, as a 9-0 team,
Yeah, I was surprised.
if we're gonna be honest, though, like there's been kind of like a running gag, a running joke that the Chiefs have used like black magic and dark magic to get to 9-0, because honestly, Mahomes has not been playing very well this year.
He is not.
And the fact that the team was 9-0 is an unbelievable strain of luck. Like, respectfully, it's not like they're a bad team. Don't get me wrong; they're still a good team, but like they're just kind of pulling out wins out of their butts like the Patriots used to do, you know?
Yeah, they are.
So I still think that the Chiefs are a good team, but they're a little bit fraudulent.
Right. I think that's probably a good word for them, fraudulent.
Yep, they keep winning, though.
They do. They do. Yeah,
Mhm.
but they keep winning. Richard says, yes. Hi, Richard. Yes, indeed. They keep winning.
Yeah. Just like the Patriots used to do.
True. Although Mahomes hasn't looked as good as Brady looked in those years. This year, Mahomes, he has not looked that great. And I don't know what the deal is with him. I don't know. They've gone, this is their third year. They're trying to do a three-peat. So they played a lot of games, blah, 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 whatever. I just think Mahomes looks off. And
Something does look wrong with him.
it does.
And
He doesn't
it's
look like
it's not
himself.
like he's playing bad,
No,
but
but
like
not his standard though.
he's throwing more interceptions than anticipated. And granted, I don't watch every Kansas City game. I don't know how many of them are like dropped off the receiver or like an arm punt, right? But it just something feels a little off with Mahomes. He doesn't feel like the same Mahomes we've seen in years past.
It's true. What do you think, Robbie? Do you think that Mahomes is looking a little off?
From like what I watched, it looks like he's not throwing the ball as good as he was years past.
As accurately. That's true. That's true. The other thing they said about what the Bills did to deal with Mahomes is they compressed the hole. They said rather than just blitzing and doing that, they said that they felt like they needed to like completely circle him and compress him, and it seemed to work. Boy, that first interception by Rapp was like, wow. I wasn't expecting that. That ball looked terrible coming out of Mahomes' hand. I know he
Yeah,
was
he was
just
under
kind of,
pressure.
yeah, he was, but still, you've seen Mahomes do stuff like that before
Yeah. Hmm.
and score a touchdown. So,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
okay, so last but not least, who was the best player on defense versus Kansas City?
Ooh. Robbie, you want to go first?
I would say Bernard.
Solid choice.
Yeah. In terms of a player who stood out to me, I thought Ed Oliver looked pretty good. Is that who you were gonna pick? Yeah. Ed Oliver, Russo, those two have been good. I think something needs to be said about Benford also
Oh, Christian Benford's so awesome, isn't he?
for locking up DeAndre Hopkins, only 2 catches for 8 yards. And it's not like
Unreal.
Hopkins is a bad player. He still has some juice left in the tank, and
He does.
Benford locked him up. So, I'll say a tie between Ed Oliver and Christian Benford. How about that?
I like that. I like that. I was going to say Ed Oliver, but since you said Ed Oliver, I'll bring an honorable mention because I think he's shown up this year is Taylor Rapp.
Yeah, he had a pick.
He had a pick that set the tone, like right from the get-go in the game. And I think he's steadily improved as the year has gone on. He's gotten better and better. So I would have to give him an honorable mention, but I'm kind of with Robbie. I think overall, Terrell Bernard, I don't know what it is about that guy. He's not that big, but he hits like a brick, you know what? He is, and he's always in the right place. Always in the right place.
He's been
And
balling.
smart. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing him together with Milano because I think that's going to really pick things up. Whereas our linebacking group was kind of a weakness, I think now it's going to be a strength. So
Yeah.
that's going to be important moving forward in the playoffs. So we shall see. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you guys. And anybody have any other questions or comments? No.
I got nothing. What about you, Robbie?
What you got, Robbie?
My my one friend and I were talking about the game, and when James Cook scored, I think it was the first touchdown or the second touchdown. Me and my one friend Kevin and my friend Becky, that sometimes tune into our show.
Cool.
We were talking, and she said that the Cook touchdown was her favorite moment of the game.
Yes. Well, I agree with Becky in terms of that was awesome. Like I said, he's powering through people now, like in a way that we haven't seen him do that in the past. He hits the hole with authority now. So good for Becky. Roberta Snyder, interesting discussion tonight. Yay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,
And
go ahead.
and tomorrow is her birthday also.
No, Roberta's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Happy
Birthday. Awesome. Okay. So that's all I've got. So we will be meeting again on Tuesday, December 3rd. Is that right? At 6:15.
Yeah. No, 8:15. Oh, for us it's 8:15.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
8:15 Eastern time. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.